When you think of a millionaire, you usually don't think of someone who has a very common...
Because someone doesn't earn a high salary doesn't mean they can't become a millionaire.
Secret he hid from everyone, including his own family. Yeah, so what? Millionaires die every other day.
Stats about how millionaires all inherited their money from their parents. And reality is that is not true. The majority of millionaires are first generation wealthy.
4 different creators. 4 different paths to wealth. Humphrey Yang, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, Vincent Chan, and Call to Leap break down the real rules behind money, habits, and financial freedom.
Was to increase your income. Listen, everyone wants to make more money, but most people never ask the obvious question. What skill do I have that's actually worth more? Or what skill do I need to learn to make myself more valuable?
Many people assume wealth is only for high earners or entrepreneurs. But data shows millions of millionaires built wealth with ordinary salaries through consistent investing and disciplined habits. Studies from financial institutions reveal that time in the market and saving rate matter far more than income level. The real question isn't how much you earn, it's what you consistently do with what you earn.
Look, all my years as an entrepreneur, I learned this. Money follows value. If you want to earn more, you need to become more valuable, period. You don't get paid for effort, you get paid for results. So say that you're stuck making $50,000 a year, it's not because your boss is evil, it's because the market has decided that your current skill set is worth $50,000.
The path to wealth begins with awareness, investing early, and making intentional financial decisions. Most millionaires didn't rely on luck, they relied on systems and consistency. And once you understand that, the next piece becomes even more important. The habits that shape your financial future.
Millionaire from just perfecting this cash flow formula. He had one other secret up his sleeve. When he died, the truth finally came out. No one, not even his family, knew about this. Ronald had been investing in about 95 different stocks throughout his lifetime. And after going through all of his stock picks, I found one common theme throughout all of them, and this is where it gets interesting.
Most people believe wealth is created by big financial moves or lucky investments. But research on long-term investors shows the opposite. Small daily habits, saving regularly, avoiding impulsive spending, and investing consistently create the biggest financial outcomes.
Investing your positive cash flow is the key ingredient to building wealth, but it's vital you do it correctly. I'll show you the easiest way to get started. But first, here's the mistake that you absolutely need to avoid. You've probably heard a lot about day trading before. You see it on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, about people analyzing charts, buying and selling 20 different times a day, hoping it goes up, thinking it's really exciting and is the key to getting rich. But here's what they don't tell you.
In fact, behavioral finance studies show habits influence wealth far more than intelligence or income. The real advantage comes from building simple systems that automate saving and investing. When the habit becomes automatic, wealth starts compounding in the background. And once habits are working for you, the next critical step is understanding the real power of long-term investing.
You're actually dramatically reducing your returns. For example, a 1% fee translates over the long term to about 28% of your lifetime returns. That means you're going to pay over 25% of your returns in fees. So I always recommend that you pay a flat fee or an hourly rate, never a percentage if you choose to work with a financial advisor. Here's another suggestion.
Many people delay investing because they think they need a lot of money to start. But historical market data shows something surprising. Starting early with small amounts can outperform starting later with much larger investments. Studies on compound interest prove that time in the market is one of the most powerful wealth-building forces.
If you end up managing your own investments, which you can easily do using my book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, always look for low management fees or expense ratios, and you'll be in a pretty good place. Now, what's a good management fee? Well, in general, 0.2% or lower. And many of the best index funds at Vanguard, Schwab, or Fidelity, including target date funds, offer very low fees like this.
Consistent investing over decades quietly multiplies money through compounding. Wealth is rarely built through one big move. It's built through patience and repetition. And once investing becomes consistent, the next challenge appears: maintaining discipline over time.
The primary reason that he's so crazy rich is due to persistence, consistency, and also living to 95 years old. He's been investing since he was 10 years old, and the way that compound interest works is that all the gains are going to be at the very, very end, and Warren Buffett is close to the end of his life.
Most people believe building wealth requires complex strategies or risky bets. But long-term financial studies show something much simpler. The majority of successful investors win because they stay consistent for decades, not because they pick perfect investments. Discipline, saving, investing, and staying patient often beats talent or intelligence.
So when you take Warren Buffett, who is worth around $3 billion at the age of 60, you can see that the overwhelming majority of his wealth is going to be created after the age of 60 because now he's had an extra 35 years of compounding after that.
The real edge comes from repeating simple financial behaviors over long periods of time. Consistency turns small actions into massive long-term results. And once discipline is in place, the next factor becomes critical: controlling how money leaves your life.
For you. The dictionary definition of frugal is to, quote, be careful about spending money or using things when you do not need to. In other words, we want to make sure that we're getting the most value out of every dollar, pound, euro, or whatever currency it may be, because especially in the beginning of your wealth building journey, the beginning is going to be the hardest. So a small example of being frugal in my personal life is using the McDonald's app on my phone. They usually have rotating categories of different rewards and deals within the app. Like, for example, you could get a buy one breakfast sandwich, get one free.
Most people think earning more money automatically leads to building wealth. But financial data shows a different reality. Lifestyle inflation quietly destroys savings as income increases. Studies show many high earners still struggle financially because spending grows just as fast as their salary.
Or my usual favorite deal is getting an iced coffee for 99 cents. The fees are usually $2.55, and that's more than double the price. So I think that's a pretty good deal. You save $1.55 just for using the app, and while that $1.55 is not going to change your life dramatically, I find that this behavior is a small representation of my overall financial behavior. Personally, I'm always trying to get the...
Wealth is often built by controlling expenses and living below your means. Keeping spending intentional allows more money to flow into saving and investing. And once spending is under control, the next powerful advantage becomes financial knowledge.
Ronald went to his local library, read the Wall Street Journal and other things for free. He talked to his neighbors that worked at banks to learn more about money and how everything works. One thing you need to realize is that no thing deserves to get a chunk of your money more than yourself.
Many people believe managing money requires a finance degree or expert knowledge. But studies show most successful investors rely on simple financial principles anyone can learn. Access to financial education has expanded dramatically through books, online platforms, and digital tools. Learning how money works often matters more than how much money you start with.
The wealthy loves to educate themselves to gain information because of the value they get down the line. And thankfully, you're doing the same thing right now by watching this free video. Even when it comes to reading a book that you have to buy for $8, you're essentially downloading decades worth of knowledge from the author for just a few bucks.
Understanding basic financial concepts allows people to make smarter decisions with their money. Knowledge transforms uncertainty into strategy and confidence. And once financial knowledge grows, the final step becomes taking full responsibility for your financial life.
You have certain responsibilities that other people don't have. Maybe you're taking care of an elderly parent. Maybe you have a young child at home, and for the next couple of years, it's going to be really tough. Maybe you have to prioritize your mental health. Maybe you were simply never taught about investing or even taught that it's okay to want more. We are often taught that in order to get rich, we've got to have 30 screens with all these ratios running down the screen and we need to pick stocks.
Many people believe their financial situation is controlled by luck, the economy, or external circumstances. But behavioral finance research shows that personal decisions shape most long-term financial outcomes. The habits you choose, the risks you take, and the discipline you maintain ultimately determine your financial future. Wealth building begins the moment you take ownership of your choices.
That's not real investing. That's day trading. That's gambling. Investing is boring. It's not entertainment. You want to be entertained? Get a dog. Better yet, watch my Netflix show. But real investing is like watching paint dry. That's why when I realized that I had $1 million, or even much more than that,
Taking responsibility for your financial decisions creates control over your future. When you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start acting intentionally, everything changes. And that's the real secret behind people who quietly build wealth over time. You thought that was the whole story? What you just heard is only half of the truth about building wealth. Because another group of creators is about to challenge these ideas even harder and reveal the rules most people completely ignore. If you think you already understand money after this, you're not even close. The next part will break the assumptions that keep most people stuck financially.